Okay. Hello and welcome to the trade deadline video where I'm gonna give my thoughts and just how I feel about each team and the trades they did. So it was a crazy deadline, and I think what made this deadline like one of the best ones we've seen in years is that there's not a ton of good teams. I mean, really, the only teams I could say are like up there are the Eagles, Bills, and Chiefs, and every other team is just a bit behind them in some way or another. So I think that's what made this deadline fun. And there's a bunch of teams that still have a chance of making the playoffs. So I'll go through each team and what they did, maybe why they did. So gonna start off with the trade on Halloween. Ravens uh, getting Roquan Smith, and so they traded a second round pick, fifth round pick, and AJ Klein, or yeah, they traded that for Roquan Smith. It's a good deal. I think it makes sense for the Ravens. They probably will have to pay him. I think with linebacker contracts, it's around 19 million for the best ones. So it's gonna be a hefty deal, but Roquan Smith's good. And with the type of defense that they want to run, it's not really a college type defense, but the coach that they hired, coach there, I think Mike McDaniel, coached in Michigan. Could be wrong, but they're running a bit more of that type of defense, and you always want a good linebacker just to roam in the middle of the field. And Roquan Smith's a good tackler. He'll be good against the run too, so I think it's a good deal for them. And for the Bears, just getting picks for a really good player. Nothing wrong with that. It. I'm not a huge fan of the trade for the Bears because I'm not a fan of teams getting rid of good players. Um, it's never really a good thing to do, but yeah, I mean it happens. Like the only reason why I'm not a fan is because you want to keep these good players to show uh, draft picks and free agents that if you're a good player, that you'll get rewarded and you won't get sent away if we ever do become good. So yeah, I think it's fine for Chicago, but good for the Ravens. And then for uh, the Vikings, this trade is kind of crazy. Getting TJ Hockensen and two fourth round picks, trading away a second round pick, so going down 2 rounds, and a third round pick going down like a round in 2024. And Hockensen has a year and a half left on this contract, which I mean he's worth it. Irv Smith is hurt, um, and he wasn't that bad. He was kind of a really good athlete. He would get open, but uh, would just have issues catching the ball. So getting someone who can catch the ball and run block, I think it's gonna help out the offense a lot. I don't want to say he's gonna play the Tyler Higbee role since Kevin O'Connell was with the Rams, but I mean he could probably do something similar, just be that type of player. And then same thing with Detroit. How I feel about Chicago getting rid of good players, like I mean, I guess it makes sense if they don't want to roll with Hawkinson or pay him big money, as there's only like 4 or 5 top tier tight ends. But I'm not a huge fan of Detroit doing this. You don't really get like a crazy return back, and I mean he still had a year and a half left on his deal, but we'll see what they do. I mean they're already firing coaches and stuff, so it's not looking good for the Detroit and the coaching staff there. For the Bears trading for Chase Claypool, trade a second round pick. I'm not a huge fan of this deal either for Chicago. Like Claypool had a pretty solid rookie season. I think he scored like 11 touchdowns, and it's just weird because the Steelers are known for getting good receivers, and Claypool's not a bad receiver. He's just been underwhelming, and I mean if they're giving up a wide receiver, it's not a good sign. Second round pick's good for the Steelers in case they want to trade for a quarterback or just I don't even know, they could use it on the running back or something. But it's good for the Steelers. Claypool, don't really need him. For the Bears, it's just like are they gonna pay him? Cause I don't think Claypool's gonna be worth it. And even if you look at like Christian Kirk type money, 20 million a year, like that's doesn't feel worth it at all. So I'm not a big fan, but it's still an upgrade. And then when you look at next year's free agency, the wide receivers are free agents. There's only like two good ones. I think Juju Smith-Schuster's a free agent and Jacoby Myers, but aside from that, it's not good. So if you want a good receiver, you're gonna have to trade for him. And this is the receiver they chose. I don't know if he's their best wide receiver, or I would say it's Mooney, but I mean getting someone who could just catch the ball, cause yeah, their receivers like Equinemius St. Brown, Velus Jones, Ignacio Pettis, like it's not a good receiving core. So just any upgrade's an upgrade. And yeah, now that I think about it, I don't hate the move, but I just feel like there's better receivers you could trade for. And then the big trade, Dolphins getting Bradley Chubb and a 5th-round pick, trading away a 1st-round pick from San Francisco, a 4th-round pick, and Chase Edmonds. Chase Edmonds has been underwhelming, so might as well. I mean, Denver lost Javonte Williams, so just getting a running back, it's fine. And for the Dolphins, I mean, there's no need to have a 1st-round or 4th-round pick if you're trading for talent. And Chubb's a really good player. He's a really good pass rusher. He's good against the run. And, I mean, the Dolphins have Jalen Phillips on the opposite edge, and he's been playing really good. It's just a good move all around for the Dolphins and even for the Broncos. I mean, they've also been an underwhelming team, and, I mean, they just haven't been good. So just getting more picks and just really don't want to say freeing up cap space, because I mean he's not making a huge amount of money, but just to not lose them in free agency or anything, just getting value now. I mean, it's a good return for Denver. So I like it for both sides, but I mean Denver gets worse for now and Dolphins get way better. It's kind of a move that kind of, I would say, almost propels them to the upper tier with the Bills, Chiefs, and Eagles, but I mean, we'll see. And then this trade is crazy too, trading for Calvin Ridley. Oh, and it shows all the incentives or conditions. So for sure, they're gonna get a 5th-round pick if he's reinstated, which happens in February. So, I mean, we'll find out soon enough, like, if the Falcons do get all this. And then next year, or the year after, could get a 4th-round pick if he makes the team. 3rd-round pick if he plays. I don't know how much that will be, but probably like 50% of the snaps. And 2nd-round pick if they do an extension with Calvin Ridley, which it's, with the young quarterbacks, you always want a top-tier receiver to pair up with them. With Josh Allen, you could think of Stephon Diggs. I mean, with Mahomes, he had Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. Who else? Herbert has Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. Like, with all these young QBs, Tua has Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle now. You just want to get him a good receiver, and Calvin Ridley's a really good receiver. It kind of sucks that he's suspended, especially because, I mean, gambling's a weird issue. I guess it's up to how you feel about it. But yeah, so he'll be there next year, and I think it's going to make a huge difference for the team. It's a good trade for both sides. I mean, he was going to play with Atlanta, and I don't think Atlanta wanted him back, and get something for him. And for the Jaguars, like, just taking a shot at a really good receiver, especially with the way their receiving core is now, like, it's worth it. Oh, and then Dolphins getting Jeff Wilson for a 5th. I mean, this is kind of like a win-win, trading away a player you don't need, especially with Niners getting McCaffrey back, and the Dolphins getting a pretty good backup. Raheem Mostert's been good. Jeff Wilson's solid, so makes sense. And then Denver getting Jake Martin. It's more like a depth player. They don't even trade much. Just go down a round in 2024. So that's kind of like just a nothing move. Nyheim Hines getting traded is also pretty crazy. Because they traded away Zach Moss, and you could kind of tell Moss was just not what they wanted. Like, Singletary's been okay. The rookie James Cook, he's fine enough. I mean, James Cook was supposed to be the pass catching back, but has like fumbling issues, and I think the last game he played kind of well. So, but he's a young player. He's a rookie. He still has a lot to learn. And Nyheim Hines is good now, so it's a good move just to make him better for now. Getting a 6th-round pick that could become a 5th, and trading away a player you don't need. It's a good trade for the Bills. And I'm kind of surprised the Colts didn't trade more players, but I mean, you don't really have to. Kansas City trading a 7th-round pick for Rashad Fenton, or trading away Rashad Fenton, conditional 7th. So just another trade where player you don't need or you don't want, just getting something for him that it's never going to be bad. Falcons trading away Dean Marlowe. It's more of a depth player. He's not that good, but I mean, just any depth's good enough. And then William Jackson getting traded for a 6th-round pick in 2025. That's also kind of crazy. Because he was a player they were gonna cut, and I think he demanded a trade. He was kind of decent with the Bengals, and just hasn't really been good here. And the Steelers kind of just need DBs. Their cornerback room has been awful. Haven't really been able to just cover anyone at all. So any move is a good move. And aside from that, there's also been some just players signed to practice squads. I just want to see releases. Oops, not trades. Okay. Nothing crazy. Darryl Worley released. Willie Snead. Kevin Grugier-Hill. I forgot who he signed with. Oh, the Cardinals. Forrest Lamp getting released. Tevin Coleman got released. And then these all happened a while ago. So it's a pretty fun trade deadline. Just so much trades didn't expect. And there's a lot of teams that didn't make moves, like the Cowboys. I know that they're in talks with Brandon Cooks, and nothing came out of it. So I don't know if they could really use Brandon Cooks. The Cowboys are a weird team. Like, they never really do anything with trades or do anything in free agency. It's more just drafting players. And then the Packers seemed like they were trying to go after a wide receiver, but Bears swooped in, got Chase Claypool, and couldn't get anything done. So kind of sucks for both of those teams, especially the Packers with how underwhelming they've been. I mean, they could have just used almost anything on defense, and especially a wide receiver. So they didn't get anything done, just rolling with the guys they have. So pretty fun trade deadline. And I mean, overall, like, only a couple of teams got much better. Ravens defense is going to be better. Vikings offense. Bears offense, but their defense is going to be worse. Miami's D-line is going to be crazy. And yeah. Anyways, thank you for watching, and see you next time. Peace.